A very good day to our beloved lecturer, Miss Manmeet Kaur. Welcome to Group 5. My team members are Teenage, Stephen, Logender, and myself, Madhumita. We would like to discuss a topic about LG from South Korea to open a new operation in Indonesia. These are the topics we will be covering later. I'll begin my presentation. The differences between Indonesia and South Korea in terms of employment law. The first one is minimum wage. Minimum wage in Indonesia is 92,141 rupiah per hour, whereas in Korean won it will be 7,645.84. Whereas the statistic that shows in South Korea, the minimum wage is 8,720 won per hour. When it is converted into Indonesian rupiah, it will be 104,999.95. The South Korean government have also announced that there will be increase in 5.05 percentage in 2022 of 9,161 per hour. In Indonesian rupiah, it will be 110,298.11. The working hour in Indonesia is 7 hours per day and 40 hours per week for 6 working days, and 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week for 5 working days. According to the Labour Standard Act of Korean in 2018, the standard working hours in Korea is 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week. Legal age, legal working age in Indonesia is 15 years old. So, young people from age of 13 to 15 years old are entitled to do light work. In South Korea, the legal working age is 15 to 64 years old. Next is the retirement age. The retirement age in Indonesia is 57 years old, and the age limit will increase by one every 3 years until it reaches 65 years old. So the retirement age in South Korea is 60 years old. The overtime pay in Indonesia is 1.5 times higher than from a normal hourly rate for the first hour and 2 times higher than the normal rate for the subsequent 2 hours. Whereas in South Korea, it is counted by the overtime and the once hourly rate, and there will be additional 50%. This is announced by the Labour Standard Act. The maternity leave in Indonesia is 3 months full pay, 1.5 months before delivery, and 1.5 months after delivery. Whereas in South Korea, the maternity leave is 90 days for normal birth and 120 days for twins. So government will be also paying the remaining 30 days or 45 days of their payment, and employer takes a bigger role here to pay the balance. Now I will be talking about the differences between Indonesia and South Korea in terms of practices. In South Korea, the break time is 30 minutes after 4 hours, and if there is any break time during prayers, it is paid. Whereas for South Korea, the break time is 1 hour for 8 hours of work and 30 minutes for 4 hours of work. Meeting in Indonesia is formal, and meeting in South Korea is formal and informal. Greeting in Indonesia, Indonesians say selamat and they shake hand to their elderly and senior staffs. In South Korea, they bow to their seniors and greet high value individual first. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dinesh, and I'm going to present about differences between Indonesia and South Korea in terms of the cultural system. So when it comes to power distance of Indonesia, it can be seen that Indonesia scores high on power distance dimension with a score of 78. This means that the following characterizes the Indonesian society, which are independent of hierarchy, unequal rights, leader which directing, controlling, and delegating, power which will be centralized, and managers will respected for their position. Indonesians prefer indirect communication, and lastly, their negative feedback is hidden. And moving on to the power distance of South Korea scored 60, which indicating that it is a rather lower power distance culture than Indonesia. So my second and third point saying that in low power culture, power is distributed equally among its members, who are rewarded according to to their performance. So my next point is people accept a hierarchical order in which everybody has a place, and this order needs no other justification. And lastly, hierarchy in an organization is seen as subordinates expect to be told what to do, and ideal boss is benevolent autocrat. So moving on to uncertainty avoidance of Indonesia. Indonesia has a poor level of uncertainty avoidance score of 48. So Indonesians do not express their emotions or anger externally. The law and regulation is used to assist in defending themselves from uncertainty of the others' behavior. So moving on to the next point, direct communication as a method of conflict resolution is often seen to be a threatening situation and one that the Indonesian is uncomfortable in. Lastly, perhaps one very key phrase in Indonesia that describes how this works is asal bapa senang or keep the boss happy. This means that employee will be rewarded who have no economic or status uncertainty as that employee will keep being a valuable member of the company. So moving to the uncertainty avoidance of South Korea. South Korea with a score of 85 is one of the world's most uncertainty avoiding countries. There is an emotional demand for rules in these cultures. South Korean decision making process based on opinion of others like word of mouth, reviews, recommendations and ratings. Moving on to the next point, South Koreans tend to resist new technology. This is because everything in South Korea must be done quickly and certainly from manufacturing to after sales service. Also, they prefer online shopping rather than going to the physical store because it will be done quickly with advanced technologies. Moving to long-term orientation of Indonesia, Indonesia's score of 62 shows that the country have a pragmatic culture. My second and third point saying that Indonesians can quickly adapt their traditions to changing circumstances. Pragmatic societies have a strong intention to save and invest and are persistent if they have a plan. Okay, moving on to the next point. Indonesia's long-term oriented culture has the characteristics of having perseverance, importantly prioritizing efforts to build market share rather than pursuing short-term profits, respecting tradition and maintaining the honor of others in business. Moving to long-term orientation of South Korea, South Korea ranks as one of the most pragmatic societies in the world with a score of 100. People in South Korea live their lives guided by virtues and practical good examples. This is why they don't believe in God. My third point saying that South Koreans will continually be looking to the future. For example, in corporate South Korea, they prefer high own capital rate, priority to steady growth of market share rather than to focus on a quarterly profit. Also, my next point saying that South Koreans aim to share knowledge, which focuses on long-term planning. Lastly, South Koreans ensure current and future generations long-term growth. South Koreans focus on sustainable growth for long-term rather than just looking for profits. Thank you.
Thank you. And hi, Ms. Manvi. Myself is Stephen Raj, and right now I'll be presenting the similarities in recruitment for Indonesia and South Korea. So, one of the main key points for Indonesia and South Korea is online recruitment. In terms of Indonesia, national employment site that can post advertisements, and on the other hand, South Korea uses media broadcasting. Another point that shares Indonesia and South Korea will be by visiting the corporate websites. In Indonesia and South Korea, almost most of the corporate world they're having their own corporate websites. So this helps the fresh graduates or the job seekers to look after their corporate websites or the information regarding about their recruitment process. And these are the credible sites that users in Indonesia. In terms of South Korea, these are the links that I've inserted in the slides. So a survey done by in South Korea that shows young Koreans are among the most connected in the internet survey in Asia. So right now I'll be going to the next slide. Okay, so these are the similarities in selection. For Indonesia and South Korea, both having similarities in terms of paperwork. So for Indonesia, they offer letters, which is an informal contract between a company and a potential recruit that sets out expectations for both parties. On the other hand, South Korea have a contract employment that has a labor standards acts as establishes certain requirements for employment contracts that must be followed by all businesses. So under the offer letter in Indonesia, there are position, title, division, direct supervisor, job description, performance metrics, and etc. And in terms of the South Korea, for the contract employment, HR should be developing the formal employment contract in the language of the employee's choice. So that's all for my part. Right now, I'll be passing to the next presenter.
Thank you. My name is Logan Diran. I am going to present about differences in recruitment in terms of Indonesia and South Korea. For Indonesia, it is about holding marketing contests. Marketing contest happens at top Indonesian universities. It is also about a chance to create awareness along with excitement which relates in joining or working for a certain company later on. For South Korea, it is about relationships and networking. So it means like family peoples, cousins, colleagues, and alumni are normally good bases when it comes to recruitment in South Korea. Now I'm going to talk about differences in selection in terms of Indonesia and South Korea. For Indonesia, it is about merit system. Importantly, they will be given significance to technical credentials using procedures that check work competence and also application processes transparently. There will be examinations which relates on checking work experience, recommendations with written assessments too. And this offer fairness to contending candidates for selection when they when they want to work in a certain job for an organization. For South Korea, it is about ethnocentric. Ethnocentric, it is an old and traditional approach, mainly focuses on bringing Korean men higher up positions in a certain company. And the percentage in terms of women, also non-Koreans for a high management group of Korean companies is actually below than 5%. This is about recommendations and conclusion regarding recruitment and selection strategy. There are three, which is use of employee referral, realistic job preview, and visiting educational and training establishments. Use of employee referral means practice of hiring fresh people through the reference from employees. Realistic job preview means self-selection approach. It also gives precise information regarding the work opportunity. Visiting educational and training establishment is about campus recruiting and is also a cheapest way in recruitment.
Thank you. Now I'll be presenting about the recommendation for employee training methods. The first method is hands-on training, where employee can correct their mistakes, use new equipment, and also they can know about their safety issues. Second method is communicating and coordinating. Employee will be able to evaluate employees according to the skills. Therefore, employer can also address the skills needed at the workplace. This has proven that 96% of employees who have used who have gone through this method are well prepared for their real life workplace. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And right now, I'll be presenting the recommendations and the conclusions for the performance appraisal methods. So, the performance appraisal methods we choose, which is the 360-degree feedback. This is to improve the accuracy and the fairness. And also, according to our research, most of the corporate culture in Indonesia are using this 360-degree feedback, and even the government uses this under their subdivisions. So, right now, I'll be passing to the next presenter.
Another performance appraisal method, which can recommend to South Korean company to manage in Indonesia, is management by objectives, which is MBO. So MBO actually works in Indonesia culture because directing rather than delegate is the most preferred style by the Indonesian managers. Also, they can drive better management effectively in an integrated and coordinated function between departments within an organization through MBO. And continuously, even though South Koreans have higher uncertainty avoidance, still must respect Indonesian's culture with low uncertainty avoidance. Also, recently, Indonesia is now in transition to minimize gender differences in workplaces. It is shown that women's participation is more than men's participation in the organization. So, these will be the goals of the South Korean management to achieve through MBO when organizing a company in Indonesia. Thank you, Miss Manmeet. And this will be our references. This will be our reference list. That's all from Miss Miss. Thank you.